Gonzo is so non-binary coded.
Let die the woman you love, suffer the little children.
Yeah, I'm a big Muppet head.
Congrats on coming out. So you'll love this movie.
I had a little Lego DeLorean and stuff. It's a great grandparent movie. I was sitting there like clapping and cheering when the entire audience was just children that were just silent.
That was like the only like non Christian thing my parents would let me watch. So that's funny.
That's so funny.
Oh my god, they gave a hedgehog highlights and eyeliner and a gun. But he's also so cool for that, actually.
Ronald Reagan, the actor.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Cinema Scoop podcast with Sam and Jordan. And today we have a very special guest.
It's my sister, April, coming back to the podcast. If you haven't listened to our episode with her, when was that? This summer?
This summer, yeah.
Yeah, we did a Pixar draft.
It's the Pixar draft.
It was very fun.
Which
Hi,
I'm sure
April.
I think
Hello,
I
I'm
won.
back. I'm back here again.
Yay, back in the Taylor house. So my sister loves movies, and she recently upgraded her Letterboxd to a pro account.
Not a great sign.
Not a good sign. April is an animation major,
Yes,
right?
that is true.
Yeah.
I also dabbled in live action film production last
Nice.
year, but yeah.
Yeah. She's kind of awesome. Thanks for doing an interview episode with us. This will be kind of fun because we'll just kind of get to know you, talk a little bit about your favorite movies, and hopefully giggle a bit, shits and gigs, you know, the whole nine.
So our first little question here is, what do you enjoy most in movies? So that could be like anything about movies or how they're made or what elements you like.
So I'm a big fan of movies that are like comfort food, you know, like, but I also like movies that surprise me and challenge me, make me uncomfortable. Like, I'll talk about this later, but I saw the TV Glow, obviously. That makes me severely uncomfortable. It's one of my favorite movies ever. The thing about those kinds of films, though, is that you really have to be in the right headspace for them. And if you're doing a lot of like mental health stuff, like I have been lately, it's very hard, which means that most of my Letterboxd watch list is just like comfort movie, comfort movie, comfort movie. And like I don't want to become like stagnant in the comfort movie space. Like I want to watch stuff that still challenges me, and I have for like film classes and stuff. But like I also will not resist the chance to watch Twilight a fourth time.
I love
Um,
that. I got to show you that. I'm very happy to
Thank
say
you.
that I got you into Twilight.
I've now watched all of them. The first one's still the best one though.
Where the hell have you been, Loca?
This is the skin of a killer, Bella.
It's just like a canon event to be very into Twilight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any specific like actors or actresses or anything that you will watch anything that they're in, or any directors?
I hate to say this, but Ryan Reynolds. He plays the same character in every movie, and I hate, like, here's the thing, I hate Deadpool. Like, I cannot stand the Deadpool movies.
Yeah.
I cannot stand them. He's literally just Ryan Reynolds in that one, but something about those movies specifically. Anything else, I watched Free Guy with him in it. It was so bad. Loved it because just it was Ryan Reynolds. The Adam Project was like a shitty Netflix movie he did.
Oh.
There was like time travel and stuff. I watched that. Detective Pikachu, obviously. I think
Yes.
kickstarted it.
That makes sense.
Like, but yeah, Ryan Reynolds is my guilty pleasure actor, I guess.
If he comes out with something, you're like, I'm there.
Yeah, I think he's made a few more shitty Netflix movies I need to watch.
Nice.
Like one with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm like, oh god, that looks awful.
If
I need to
Dwayne's in
watch
it, like lately it's not been great, but I mean it could be fun. So
It'll be fun.
cool. So next question I have is, what is your favorite movie going memory that you have? And you can list a few if you have a few.
I remember going to see Up when I was really little. I've listed this on my Letterboxd page, I think. Because I remember it came out in like 2008, 2009, and I remember going to the theater and being terrified of the theater when I was that young, because like they had all these like, it was just such a big room,
It's
just
dark.
the entrance, and yeah, and the actual theater was dark. And I remember at that time they were doing like an Ice Age dinosaur movie, and the posters of that terrified me, even though it was like a really kid-friendly animated dinosaur. But I still remember that fondly, I think, just because, whoa, I got to see Up in the theater.
I probably was there.
You probably were. That
I
would
don't
make
remember
sense.
it, but I probably was there.
It was the theater that had like a big horse on the side of it. I don't remember why.
Oh, Silverado. Is it Silverado in Tomball? It's not there
Probably.
anymore.
Oh wow.
I think they got bought out by someone else, but we used to love going
Yeah, I think
there.
it's still there, but I think it's just a different company and they call it something else.
Yeah.
But they did have a big horse on the side.
Rip Silverado.
In addition to that, though, in recent memory, I just went to go see Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with my friend Callie from high school, and that was really fun. Like, I was more excited for that movie than I was any of those Avengers one. Like,
That's your Avengers.
yeah, that was my Avengers. Like, I was sitting there like clapping and cheering when the entire audience was just children that were just silent. And I was sitting there like,
You're the one clapping after
I was the one
credits roll.
clapping after the
Yeah.
credits rolled.
I love that. I love that for you. Honestly, though, like low-key, I've heard it's really, really good
It's
from
really
like a
good.
lot of people that are like, no, really, you should go see it.
It's really good.
We haven't gone to see it because we actually haven't watched the first or second one yet. So it would feel wrong to like
Yeah,
skip ahead.
I've told you about this, but yeah, the first one sucks ass. The second one is cute, but it's like nothing to write home about. The third one is I was like, that's actually like a decent movie. Like not like outside of my connection to the property, which is not too much, but like it was just a decent movie, I think.
I have a pretty profoundly deep connection with Sonic. It was my first video game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I remember playing it with you on the PlayStation 2 whenever I was younger.
I think
But
as far as like gaming consoles go, I've tried to get the like retro version of my favorite game. It was on Sega Genesis,
Yeah.
which was just Sonic 2. I've tried to get that on like PS2. I have it on the Switch now. Like as long as I can play it on any console that I have, I'm happy. It's just left to right. I don't know why I was obsessed with it.
Yeah, I saw the first Sonic movie,
Oh,
but
you did?
yeah, I didn't like it, so I didn't see the
we have that in
second one yet.
common.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't like the first one. The second one is like worse?
Okay, so the first one is like, it's literally just like an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, but Sonic is there. Like
With
it's
James
literally,
Marsden.
it's literally just like,
It's like a road trip movie.
Whoa,
almost.
Sonic the Hedgehog comes to Earth and has to go battle Dr. Robotnik, who's a military guy or whatever.
Oh my
Yeah,
And-
Harry's really good. I mean,
That's
I've only
it.
seen the first one, but like, he's the only good part of that movie.
yeah, it's otherwise like I think there was all that controversy about like the design of him, how he looked really realistic and ugly.
And everyone got mad, so they had
Mm-hmm.
to redo his face.
The thing is, though, I don't think people realize like they redid his design. They didn't change anything else about the movie. So like the one good thing about that movie is they made a more accurate design, but it doesn't mean the humor is good, doesn't mean the story's good. It's just, wow, Sonic the Hedgehog has to be friends with a human police officer, and you're like, okay, this could have been any cartoon character. Like this could have been the Yogi Bear movie from 2010 or whatever. The second one is slightly better just because they are like
Okay.
slightly more willing to be a little bit goofier with it, and
And the third one's just straight up.
the
good.
third one's just straight up good. I mean, Keanu Reeves' Shadow the Hedgehog,
Yeah.
like I've said this before, but he's simultaneously like the stupidest, like, oh my god, they gave a hedgehog highlights and eyeliner and a gun, but he's also so cool for that actually. And Keanu Reeves voicing him actually makes it really good. Like I wasn't expecting to be invested in that character. I'm a Shadow fan now.
I went somewhere with a group of friends, and there was a guy there that was wearing a Knuckles hoodie, and I was like, "Hey, I like your hoodie," and he was like, "Truthfully, I want a Shadow hoodie." This was before the movie came out. He was like, "Truthfully, I want a Shadow hoodie, but they don't make Shadow merch. Like they just don't make very much of it."
Really?
So I bet now that the movie's out, they probably do.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that guy's probably happy now.
Okay, so this is the main event. What are your top 5 favorite movies of all time?
And you want to start with probably number 5 and work your way
Okay.
up. And this can change over time when we interview you. Like in a year, it's probably going to be different. Like it's just what it is right now.
Gotcha. Okay. I have my Letterboxd top 10 pulled up. I'm just going to go from number 5 up. Number 5 is Back to the Future.
The first one.
The first one.
Okay.
I love number 2 and 3. They've grown on me. Number 1 is still the best one by far. Like, I remember watching it for the first time probably in 2014. Because my grandpa showed it to me and we had like a watch party for it. And then I watched it again in 2015 on October 21st for, that's the day.
Yeah.
And I don't think I liked it back then. Like I had a little Lego DeLorean and stuff. My appreciation for it has only grown. It's just like, I think like one of the top Letterboxd reviews for it is like a movie so perfect it might have eventually ruined movies because of like the 3-act structure of it. And I kind of agree with that in a way, I guess, but it's because it is so perfect. I think it is.
It holds up.
It holds up incredibly well, and I still laugh at all the jokes. The Ronald Reagan, the actor, and all that.
What does she say? She's like, "Don't listen to him, Jimmy. Nobody has 2 TVs."
Yeah. It's like that's you might not get that yet, but your kids are gonna love it.
I love that.
I love all of it.
So good. I
Yeah.
haven't rewatched it in a while, but I remember watching those as a kid. So how old were you in 2014?
9.
I was probably about the same age when I first watched all 3 of them over like the summer or something, and my family was like, "You're gonna love these," and of
Yeah.
course I did. I for some reason was obsessed with the third one. I think because there were trains.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I like all 3 as well, but I actually didn't see them till later, like in my 20s. So
Like,
yeah, I didn't really watch it when I was young. I was watching Star Wars, but that's just like that was like the only like non like Christian thing my parents would let me watch. So that's kind of,
that's so funny.
Weird.
but yeah, Back to the Future I was like kind of aware of, and then I finally watched it.
Did I show it?
Possibly it would have been like a long time ago.
She showed me so many things like pasteurized milk and Back to the Future. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is But I'm a Cheerleader.
Yes.
I know you're proud of that one because
We just watched this year.
I recommended it to her.
yeah, I came out to Jordan and then she immediately sent me a DVD of But I'm a Cheerleader.
I was like, congrats on coming out. You'll love this movie.
Holy, oh, no way. You're a transgender lesbian. There's a movie you've got to see.
Yeah, I have a movie for you.
But I love that. I like, as soon as I got the DVD that day, I was like, okay, I'm going home and fuck my homework. I'm watching this movie. And I'm one of the few times I'm glad I did that because it was so good and I wanted to cry and it was very good. And then I watched it like 4 more times that month.
It's a funny feel good and it's old, but it really holds up.
Yeah, I like whenever I describe it to people and they're like, what? They're like, wow, the set design of this movie is crazy. I'm like, yeah, it's very Cat in the Hat 2000 whatever, but it's like used to its advantage, if that makes sense.
Yes. It's beautiful.
Yeah, like I love it.
I love it too. I feel like RuPaul does a really nice job of being really funny.
I myself was once a gay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so good. I think I at one point had found it. I was looking for like just good queer films in general because it's really hard to find happy ending queer films. I don't mean it like that. I mean it like not sad and
I know what you mean.
You knew what
Yeah.
I meant. And so this came up on like several lists of like happy ending queer romance movies, and I'm like, cool, I like that. So I was just on a kick and I watched it before I even knew you would love it. All right, what's your number 3?
My number 3, oh boy, I saw the TV Glow finally.
Mm-hmm. This is what you meant by challenging.
Yeah.
movies.
On the note of being a transgender lesbian, I saw the TV Glow broke me, and I will watch it over and over again and let it break me over and over until the end of time, I think. I think it is my most watched movie of the year. I think I've watched it like 7 times since I saw it in the theater. And it is just such a haunting experience. Like the first time I watched it, I just went home and cried and had an existential crisis. The soundtrack is beautiful and it got snubbed at the Oscars, and I'm very mad about that. They need to at least nominate one song, and they're not going to. I'm gonna be pissed about that to the end of time. But it's so beautiful and so like it is. I've said this to Jordan before, but it's like the anti-comfort movie because it just makes me want to just fade out of existence whenever I watch it, but I will keep watching it because I feel it just speaks to me so deeply.
I remember seeing it in the theater, and I remember feeling like this is a really cool experience to go to an AMC and see something like this. I was having a me night, so I went by myself, and it was super late, and I like went to the bathroom afterwards, and it was like flickery lights, and I'm like, I feel like I'm stuck in the movie right now. Like it's a very like liminal space type of freaky movie, and like I know you don't have like any like a ton of experience with David Lynch, but it's an extremely Lynchian movie. It's very, very eerie and hard to place type of feeling. It's but I was just really happy to be able to see something like that in theater, and I love that it has just like resonated with so many people, and I like the fact that, you know, cishet people are able to see it and somewhat kind of wrap their head around the horror. Like, yeah, it is like that.
It's also very funny to see cishet people's reactions who don't get it, and they're just like, what a neat movie about TV shows. And it's like I saw a review recently where somebody was like, it says a lot about TV shows and nostalgia, and I was like, is that all it says?
Yeah, you have to be kind of like
you have to be tuned in a little bit.
Well, yeah, but like I feel like people that watch it and don't understand the trans allegory are just being like willfully obtuse. Yeah, like it's kind of, it's pretty obvious, you know. But great one, and a new movie too. So I think we're on number 2.
Yes.
Okay.
The Muppet movie, 1979, the original one, not 2011. I love that one. 1979 is superior though. I've loved it ever since I was a kid, and I'm a big Muppet head, big puppetry nerd, and it's just the best one. Like people have been recently, I know y'all aren't on Muppet Twitter, but people have been recently
we're not on Twitter at all.
Yeah, well, good. That's a good choice. That's a good
Muppets.
That's a good mental health decision, I think.
I've actually never seen this.
Well, I know what we're doing after this. No, people have been ranking their Muppet movies lately. I've seen, I think, all of them except for. Actually, I think I might have seen all of them now because I saw
like
Muppet.
You've probably seen all of them.
I hadn't seen Muppet Treasure Island, and then I recently went over to a friend's house and watched it.
We need
bad.
a Muppets episode.
Yeah.
We rank all the Muppets
That's the next episode we do with you.
100%. I'm down for that. But Muppet movie 1979, it's just so, it makes me cry, the ending, whenever, I don't, like, it's so silly. But, like, I think someone described it, like, the Muppets are just about singing and dancing with your friends and being happy. And that's 100%. I love that movie so much. It's,
I love that for you. I haven't watched it either in a very long time or at all. I don't have it logged. I feel like I've seen it, but I don't remember anything.
It's like we've watched the Christmas one a ton. Like I feel like we watch that every year, pretty much.
And I obviously saw the 2011 Muppets.
I think we saw that in the theater
at Cinemark. We did
because we borrowed at our dad's. I remember we borrowed your DVD of that movie for a while. That's how I first saw it.
I remember. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Did you take it?
I don't know. I don't think we still have it. I don't think it's still over there. I think y'all have.
Do we own it? Is it a? I'm gonna check my catalog.
I think most of them are on Disney Plus now, right?
They all are, with the exception of like a couple that are still owned by Sony. It's stupid. Like the Muppets Take Manhattan, I believe, is still not on there.
Y'all might still have it. I don't own it.
It's not in our DVD closet, so
it's lost to time.
It's lost to time.
Yeah, I watched the Muppets in space like 2 years ago, and I was upset because they weren't in space that long. But that was all I remembered.
That one's not great. Yeah, it's just okay. And also, Gonzo is so non-binary coded. Like, there's literally like a Muppet comic strip where he walks past the men's and women's restroom and goes into a restroom labeled whatever. Because nobody knows what he is, and he doesn't know what he is, and he's just okay with that. I had canon Gonzo as a non-binary he, they, lesbian.
I love that.
But
it's like Marcel the Shell. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. But then in Muppets in Space, you're like, actually, screw you. He has a species, and he's an alien. It's like, okay. Wow, how dare you try to label
Try to like
Gonzo.
gender
Yeah.
Gonzo.
What the hell?
Wow, that's a shame. I think
Am I too woke for
no,
for saying Gonzo's non-binary?
no. I think you're just saying the quiet part out loud.
Thank you.
So it all comes down to this.
Number one is the Mitchells versus the Machines. So I was applying. I was like in the middle of applying to college when I watched that movie. It was like months after it came out. It was like in October, and I just had Netflix on my phone and I put it on because I was like, oh, Mike Rianda, who worked on Gravity Falls, directed this movie. I think I think that was the director. And Gravity Falls is my favorite show of all time, and I'm very normal about that show. So I was like, okay, I have to watch whatever he works on. And that movie was so good. It was just like, I mean, I'm biased as a queer girl going to film school with family issues, that I'm in love with a movie about a queer girl going to film school with family issues. But it's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful, it's again like the Muppets. It's a very beautiful yet silly film. And I love whenever movies experiment with animation and stuff, and that movie obviously does a lot of that. And then I think like a few months after I watched it, you recommended it to our dad, and then we watched it with him. And
I can't take credit for that one.
yeah. We can take credit for the fact that we watched it with him.
There you go. There you go.
He probably wouldn't have wanted to watch it if I had been like, there's an animated film coming out, I'm gonna watch it. But yeah.
I loved it. It's been a really long time since I've watched it because I've only seen it the one time. And I don't even know why we watched it. It was just one of those random ones. We were like, we should watch this.
Yeah, we watched. It was like one of those Netflix release date, like end of the year. I think it was nominated for Best Animated.
I think that's maybe
Oscar.
why we watched it.
It should have won.
Yeah.
That aside, or I don't remember what the best animated feature was that year. The best animated feature category is a whole other can of worms that I could get into ripping it apart. But
Yeah, I have this as a 5 out of 5 because it is a perfect film.
good. It is perfect.
It is a perfect film. I need to rewatch it really bad. But yeah. And he hasn't made any movies since then.
Yeah. I don't know if he's working on TV shows or movies or what now. I still follow him on Twitter, which I should not be on, but that's, yeah, that's the point.
Beside the point. So the last question we have is, what are some movies that you're looking forward to seeing soon?
Well, I finally crossed one of my lists lately, which was The Holdovers. I've been meaning to watch that for a while. I watched it with my grandparents. Excellent movie to watch with your grandparents. It was very.
It's a
they
great
loved it.
grandparent movie.
It's a great grandparent movie. I loved it so much. It was like, I was describing it to my girlfriend, and she was like, "No offense, but that sounds like I feel like that's a movie I've seen a million times." I was like, "Yeah, but this one's like really good.
It's done just ever so slightly better.
Yes.
It's stylistically just beautiful.
Yes. Like whenever the opening titles hit and it's like that old style.
I just got
I'm like,
chills thinking about it.
yeah.
And the part where God, what's the actor's name? Paul Giamatti. He's like talking to Divine Joy Randolph, and he's talking about a novella, and she's like, "What? It's a novella?" And he's like, "It's like
a
a
monograph.
Yeah, a monograph." And she's like, "You can't even dream a whole dream." I was like, it's just such like a profoundly sad but like happy movie. I love that movie. It's a great one.
Movies I still need to see. I really want to see The Wild Robot, which was, I've heard it's an excellent animated movie that came out. Y'all seen it?
We saw it with Grace.
In theater, I cried my eyes out.
Oh God,
It's really good.
I need to see it. It there's like a fox in it, right?
There's lots of animals.
Okay.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal's the fox.
Okay.
And he
Well,
does a really good job.
I'm probably gonna watch it with my girlfriend because she loves foxes.
Oh yeah.
So whenever I see her next, my professors were talking about it. I
It's
mean,
good.
they were like, "Yeah, the movie is beautiful." There was one professor that I have that's like an asshole, and he's like, "That movie was just okay." Like, but he also hated Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Gravity Falls and like every other major animated content that's come out in the past 20 years. Aside from that movie, I need to see Wicked a lot.
It's great. It's a fun time. I also cried during that several times. I was surprised.
The one thing that I'm not a Wicked head, a Wicked fan, but the one thing that does upset me a little about that movie is the color grading, just from seeing the trailers. I've seen like a lot of people have had that critique also, so it's not just me.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But even with that, I loved it.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw it got like I was kind of anticipating before. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a train wreck, like what? And then like comes out and it gets like 1,000,000% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, oh, okay, people like this. I need to see that.
I think I had worded it this way, like I was anticipating just being really let down by this. So I was kind of guarded and was like, if I like this, like it's not my fault if I like this, and I bet it's going to be really bad.
Yeah.
And I ended up like crying 3 separate times watching it, and I was like, actually, this is really good. There's faults in it for sure,
Yeah.
but like it's a great movie. I think it did a really excellent job, and I feel like it's a really prescient political film in a lot of ways. I think you'll really have a good time with it.
At the time of writing my notes, I had also put that I really wanted to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but I've now seen that, so that's crossed off the list. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of other movies that I have not seen that I really, really want to see at this very moment. There was one that Willem Dafoe was in that I hadn't seen that I was looking forward to, that I was like, it's not a new one but I was like, I'm
Spider-Man. I'm just kidding.
trying to think of a Green Goblin quote off the top of my head to make a joke with, but
Let die the woman you love.
Yeah.
Or suffer the little children.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. He's been in Wes Anderson movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it was a Wes Anderson movie that I hadn't seen.
The Life Aquatic?
I think it was The Life Aquatic. That's on my watch list right now. And also
He's in something else.
Asteroid City. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
I've also just been meaning to rewatch Grand Budapest because I love that movie.
I've only seen that one time, but I liked it a lot.
Same.
Have you heard of this movie Flow? That's coming out.
I've heard a little bit about that. I've seen it around. I have not.
I don't think it's in theaters yet, but it's supposed to be an Oscar contender. It's supposed to be really good.
It's about a cat.
Yeah,
I
there's
have to
there's no voice cast. It's just natural animal sounds they recorded.
I'm sold.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's like a black cat that like survives a flood on a boat with all these different animals.
Does he listen to know about this? She needs to know about this. Yeah, I want to see it.
Speaking of Black Cat, that reminds me, I need to finish Kiki's Delivery Service and also watch Totoro, all the Ghibli movies.
Nice.
But that movie reminds me a lot of what people were talking about in like animation spaces. Before Wild Robot came out, a lot of people were hoping it would just kind of be that, where like there were no actors and all the animals were silent or something. And then when it got revealed, there's a lot of like, oh no, there's talking animals, but now people are loving it. So
Oh yeah, the talking animals are pretty good, though. It doesn't.
a
yeah,
lot either.
It
Yeah.
feels good. Like it doesn't feel like overkill or
Mhm.
anything, like Migration or something. Not that Migration was bad.
how was Migration?
We liked it.
It's pretty good.
It's like a good. Like I had a good time. I didn't cry.
Better than Despicable Me 4.
Yeah.
I like Despicable Me 4, but
Really? Because you had air conditioning?
yes, and the Garfield movie too.
Oh, Garfield movie was really.
I haven't
good.
seen Garfield.
That one's really good. It's good because I like Garfield, and that's all.
The food
that's all.
looks good.
The food looks good. There's a lot of product
And
placement,
Samuel L. Jackson's in it.
and Snoop Dogg has a part.
You ever see those posts that are like, why does anime food look so good? And it's like that, like, why does Garfield food look so good?
Yeah, and he eats a lot of it. It's really funny. I'm like,
And he orders it on his like DoorDash app thing.
I
It's
watched
really, and there's like drones that deliver it to him.
I watched Garfield Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving with my friends for Friendsgiving when I was up in New York. And while we were watching it, so we were like kept on pausing to just point out all the stupid frames of Garfield. Like, why is he like overinflated in that one? Why is his mouth taking up half his body? And we were just pausing and pointing out how stupid he looked and how stupid John was the entire time. Very fun
game to
animation
play
do
frame
that.
by frame.
Yeah, frame by frame Garfield watch.
Do it with Blue. You'll catch a bunch of mistakes. I love doing that.
I do that with Gravity Falls sometimes, and I'm like, now I can't watch the episodes without noticing it. I'm like, why is that one corner of the room not colored in? And it's a curse.
And a blessing at the same time to notice details.
Yeah, whenever you're fun fact, whenever you're like really into a thing and you've watched it so many times that there's no more details that you could possibly pick up in the story that were or anything that was intended, just look for things that weren't intended and you will have just as good a time.
I think it was actually your grandpa that showed me a site when I was younger that was like, you can find all the movie mistakes in a movie. And he showed me some website that like just lists out the minute timestamp of like every single mistake. And he was like, look, let's look up Harry Potter. And he was like showing me every single one. And then it ruined Harry Potter because I didn't realize they were like mouthing all the words.
I love watching Jingle All the Way just because I best Christmas movie of all time, 10 out of 10, just because it's a very funny movie, but it's also way funnier whenever you're looking for all the stuff they did not at all mean for it to be there.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
That's a great movie. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. On the note of Jingle All the Way.
Thanks for listening, and
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Adios.